What's the best time of year to sell your house? Guys, I get this question all the time. What's the best time of year to sell my house? Should I do it during summer as soon as school lets out because that's when everybody's moving? Or should I do it during the holidays because, you've got uh, lots of cooking and those wonderful aromas and the decorating and make it a very homey environment? Or is there some other magical formula that you should follow when deciding what the best time of year is to sell your house? And I can tell you, at least speaking for Orange County, California, there's one factor in other parts of the country that a lot of people take into consideration. That's weather, right? Where if there's a lot of snow on the ground, or if it's heavy rains, or other real weather factors that would prevent people from wanting to go out of the house to go look at a house. That's one thing. But in Orange County, California, we get about a half an inch of rain and people freak out. And so to us, that's the heavy rain. But still, it's not that often. And so aside from that, there are no real factors that prevent people from going out and looking at houses for sale when they want to buy. So if weather's not a factor, what are some of the other factors? Well, one of the things we can do is we can take a look at some of these charts that we have here. And this is going back 5 years. This is active listings that come into the marketplace. And if you'll see, it's always right around April, May when listings really start picking up. They go to about September usually, and then they drop off again. So April, May, September, April, May, September. So there is that factor of the summertime selling. And I think that has to do with the fact that, yes, kids are getting out of school and people are moving. But does that mean that it's the best time of year to sell? And it doesn't necessarily mean that. And the reason I say that is because, we've had market shifts at odd times in the year where something has changed literally the next day and changed the entire landscape of the market. And so some of those things could be local economic issues. Back in the 90s, we had the military bases close here. That was a big impact on us. In 2007-ish, we had, the market crash then with the mortgage issues that happened then, right? And they don't give us a warning and say, hey, we're about to crash the market. They just happen, okay? And so when you're taking a look at, what trends are, yeah, that's a good trend. But also, if you look at the summer, that means that there's more competition, okay? So if we take a look at closed sales. So if we take a look at closed sales, again, it's kind of the same thing. March, April, May, June, July, September, that's when a majority of those are happening. But does that mean that people are not interested in buying during the off season as well? And I'm here to tell you from experience that they are. And typically for me, what I find is when we're in the holiday season, and that's, once September's over, because, October, it starts to get into that fall weather and, usually it's still a little warm here, but gets into that fall weather, people start thinking about October, and then in their mind they're going, oh my gosh, Thanksgiving and Christmas are right around the corner, or Hanukkah, or whatever you guys celebrate. It's right around the corner. We got to be thinking about that. And so they start putting that stuff out of their head. But the people who don't put it out of their head are those buyers who are super serious. I will tell you that I've shown properties at people's houses at Christmas Eve while the family's sitting around the dinner table. I know, but that's the only time that they could look, and the family was happy to have them there. Guess what? The house sold because it was, very inviting. It was decorated. The smell of the food, the family sitting there enjoying themselves, that all played a part in that. Does that mean that's what you do when you sell your house? No, not necessarily, because what are you going to do? Have a pool party when you're showing your house? But, why not? I don't know. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but not typically. Okay. So when we take a look at historical trends here, you just see that it's so consistent. It is so consistent. And so, but what it doesn't do is it doesn't tell us when that peak time of the year is to actually sell, to get the most out of your money. The government doesn't even know how to tell when that peak time of that the housing market is at its peak. And that's not true. They do know when it's at the peak. But the only way that they know, the only way anybody knows, is after it's come and gone. Okay? So I have people tell me, Anthony, I just want to sell at the peak of the market. Well, guess what? The only way you're going to know you're at the peak of the market is when it's got here, and then it's already gone, and you're looking back on, oh no, I missed the peak of the market. So what you have to do is you have to decide, what is that compelling factor that's causing me to decide to sell my house? And make a decision about, what all the variables are in there. And call us and say, hey, Anthony, we're thinking about selling. We don't know if it's the right time. Should we sell? Should we stay? And I'll help you weigh out all of your options, because I've only seen it a bazillion times over the last 20 years, okay? And help you make a good educated decision regarding getting your home on the market. So anyway, the whole point of this is to tell you there really is no real perfect time to sell your house. The perfect time to sell your house is when you need to sell your house, and not when the market's crashing. That's the only real thing that I tell you, that don't wait till the market's crashing, because I've seen the results of that as well. Is there a market crash on the horizon? Who knows? I stopped trying to guess. My crystal ball stopped working a long, long time ago, and I don't know anybody else who has a crystal ball that works. So, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to chat with you. I'm here to answer your questions all the time. No obligation, no pressure, anything like that. I'd like to be able to answer your questions and be a good resource for you. So, look forward to talking to you sometime soon. Take care.